Alright everyone, welcome to our second episode and our second batch of deck techs. Today we're going to be starting off with Cascade Rhinos, which is a Cascade and a Crashing Footfalls deck. It's Teamer. It's very similar to the modern list, actually. But first I want to address the elephant in the room, or rather the rhino in the room, I guess. So right here, we're at 30.45. This is $30 vintage, so we're a little bit over. At the time of selecting and locking in this list to do the video, we were below 30. Cards just tend to fluctuate a teeny tiny little bit. If I was about to register this for a tournament, I would probably trim a couple of the sideboard cards, just going down in numbers to save 45 cents, or maybe make the mana base slightly worse, something like that. But I decided that I'm not going to stress every last penny in these first couple episodes, just because I know that when I selected the deck, it was fine and legal, and I don't want to send out a picture of the deck list and then change the deck list before I actually record the gameplay. So that's kind of justifying where I'm at. So anyway, moving on. Just like the modern Cascade decks, and there's actually another Cascade deck in this format, so a lot of this will apply. But what we want to do is cast Crashing Footfalls, and instead of suspending it, we want to cascade into it off of either Shardless Agent or Bloodbraid Elf. Now what that means for your deck construction is that you don't want to have anything that costs less than 3 mana, because you want Shardless Agent to be guaranteed to hit Crashing Footfalls. You could say the same thing about Bloodbraid Elf and less than 4 mana, but basically here we've just decided that we're okay hitting some 3-drops. Because your Bloodbraid Elf can either hit a Crashing Footfalls or a Shardless Agent to be, let's call it, successful. We also have Bone Crusher Giants, Lelias, and Simian Spirit Guides. Not the most amazing hit in the world, but we'll talk about why they're good. So as far as your deck construction, when you're doing this Shardless Agent Cascade thing, you kind of want to find ways to cheat the system and have things that you can play for less than 3 mana that don't get hit. So, for example, Fire and Ice, it looks like a 2-drop, but it's actually 2 plus 2 is 4. Incubation Incongruity, same deal. Its CMC is actually 4, so it doesn't get cascaded into. Hieroglyphic, we can cycle it for 1, so it's something to do. And we also have 4 Sky Turtles, which interact for 2 mana, or, they can be used for 3 mana to get a card back. But again, their CMC is too high to be cascaded into. So that's kind of the joke with these Cascade decks. There's a pretty harsh deck building requirement, so you have to find things like the Sky Turtle to let you interact. That also means that your sideboard plans end up being a little bit weird. So here, 4 Ravenous Traps. CMC is 4, but we don't have to pay mana for it. Pretty good way to catch most of the graveyard decks, and at 60 cents, it's a worthwhile investment. We also have 3 Pyrokinesis. Same reason. Sometimes you just have to interact with, Mono White Soldiers or Cephalid Breakfast. Pyrokinesis can be brought in against either of those, or, even something like the Mono-Red Blitz deck that we're playing today. It's just a way to go fast. Speaking of going fast, this deck originally didn't have the Simian Spirit Guide and Incubation Incongruity package. Originally, we were playing a lot more cyclers, like Deadshot Minotaur, Curator of Mysteries, just to keep the deck size small, so that we could find our Cascade creatures more easily. But after talking to my buddy Chris, we decided to kind of go a little bit more turbo, if that makes sense. Incubation, 1 mana, look at the top 5 for a creature. So that's going to dig you to your Shardless Agents and your Bloodbraid Elves, so essentially you're going up in the number of Cascaders you have, which is awesome. But on turn 1, it can also help you find a Simian Spirit Guide, which is going to let you do the turn 2 Cascade by exiling a Simian Spirit Guide. So you might have, Forest Island in play, exile a Simian Spirit Guide, and boom, Shardless. So turn 2, you're putting 10 power into play, and you're doing it, you're doing it pretty consistently thanks to Incubation. We also have Lelia, which this card is just nuts. This is a legacy playable card, but obviously it's not modern legal. This is a really good card to put out on turn 2, and not only is it just a powerful card, right? It's card advantage, it's a threat that grows. There's actually some synergy here. So she gets bigger whenever you... That's interesting. So we've actually been playing this wrong. We have been pumping Lelia off of Simian's Spirit Guide, but what I'm now realizing is that It's actually cards from your library or your graveyard, so Simian Spirit Guide wouldn't trigger. So it actually means I don't have to talk about Simian Spirit Guide interactions, and I should probably send Chris a text message and tell him we're wrong. But the part that does work, if you have a Lelia in play, and then you cast a Shardless Agent or a Bloodbraid Elf, you are going to Cascade. And when you Cascade, you are exiling cards from your library, which Lelia cares about, and for each card that you exile, it counts as an additional Lelia trigger. So if you cast your Shardless Agent and you have to go 20 cards deep to find a Crashing Footfalls, Lelia gets 20 +1/+1 counters and becomes a lethal threat. That's crazy. It's a very fun interaction. Something to look for. I hope you get to see it in the gameplay. But yeah, I just think this deck is super cool. The mana base, I will admit, is a little painful. We're playing 10 Pain lands. That's just kind of what has to happen in this format to be able to cast your spells. 3-color decks have a very real cost, and I don't know, maybe that's going to be relevant when we play against one of the most aggressive decks in the format. But I think at this point we can just wrap this up. I'm going to go ahead and send Chris a message about that Simian Spirit Guide thing, and we'll switch over and check out the deck tech for Mono Red Blitz. And continuing on with our deck text for this video, we're talking Mono Red Blitz. This deck's very fast, very consistent, and I gotta be honest, sitting down across from it at the table is terrifying. This deck is based around a lot of 1-drops. There's 34 on screen right now, and not much more expensive than that. We are running a whopping 18 lands, that's with 2 Spikefield Hazards, which is not very many, and we are just going fast and relying on efficiency. We have 12 aggressive 1-drops. Blistercoil Weird, it just gets bigger every time you cast spells, and we are casting a lot of spells. Swift Spear and Soulscar Mage, I'm sure you guys are familiar with these cards. They're prowess staples. We're backing that up with a bunch of good burn that also tends to cost 1 mana. Lightning Bolt, excellent card, very efficient, we love it here. Lava Dart, man, remember when Modern was a Lava Dart format? We're past that now, but who knows, maybe this is a Lava Dart format. Deals 1 damage, flash it back for free, that's a lot of prowess triggers, that's a lot of Blistercoil Weird triggers. Same deal, Gut Shot, it's a free spell, it doesn't look too impressive, but when you have a couple of Monastery Swift Spears in play, Gut Shot becomes, free, deal 3 damage. Firebolt, I'll be honest, we don't flash this back a ton. It's really... You do flash it back sometimes, but really it's just 1 mana, deal 2, trigger. Crash Through. This card looks kind of innocuous, like, oh hey, it's just one of those red cantrips. We have a lot of those. But I'm going to be honest, guys, your Blistercoil Weirds end up being 6 or 7 7s pretty often. Your Monastery Swift Spear and Soulscar Mages end up having 4 to 5 power pretty often. And... just adding the extra trample is so scary. Continuing on, Skewer the Critics, basically a 1-drop, and honestly Light Up the Stage is as well. These are part of why we're happy playing so many Gut Shot and Lava Dart effects, because Light Up the Stage is essentially, our 1 mana divination, which by the way is pretty good. So really, it says here 34 1-drops, but there's a really strong argument for it just being 42 1-drops. This deck is so cheap. Mana-wise. And it's cheap budget-wise, because, again, this is $30 budget vintage. We are capping out the curve with 2 Bedlam Revelers. In the games that we play today, you will see my total surprise when you draw 3 cards off Bedlam Reveler. That's so many cards. Occasionally, I have seen it end up a little bit trapped in hand, just because we're so light on lands. But most of the time, you get to 6 instant or sorceries in the graveyard pretty quickly, and this can be the last thing you play out of your hand, and boom, 3 new cards, and a 3/4 prowess. My buddy Nick put this list together, and he's put up really good results with it. We did a pretty good-sized tournament a while ago, and I think he went undefeated there. We did an online tournament with 8 people, and he took it down with this deck. He's an excellent player, but this is also an excellent deck. I will say the one thing I changed from his list is I snuck a couple Ramming Up Ruins in here. I'll be honest, I think I probably just made the deck worse doing that. I don't see very many situations where you actually end up sacrificing the desert, and I think you're probably just taking some pain for no reason. Because what I wasn't thinking about when I put them in the deck is that Firebolt Flashback is very similar to Ramen Ruins, and in the games that I've seen played, it's very, very infrequent that you do flashback your Firebolts. So having a land that is essentially an additional flashback Firebolt, not actually that necessary. But I don't know, it's hard for me to have spare budget and not look at putting in some utility lands. Now, our sideboard, fairly interesting. Braids, it's just a nice catch-all. Bomat Couriers, I believe these come in against the control matchups because they're kind of a must-answer threat, but obviously they're not very good when your opponent is blocking it. Frenzy also comes in the control matchup. I honestly wonder if there should be another Frenzy for something. The card is very good when you get it into play. 4 Torment Scripts for the graveyard matchups. I think, we just have to be respectful of the graveyard matchups. And also, free Prowess Trigger. Right, excellent. And then this one's kind of interesting. Reality Hemorrhage. On its face, this card's not particularly inspiring. It's a 2-mana shock. But it's not a red card. And the reason this matters is because this deck is very, very soft to Sanctifier Invec, Burrenton Forge Tender, Core Firewalker. Those are all cards that have seen sideboard play in a lot of different decks in the format, especially Sanctifier Invec because it just catches so much. Like, Reanimator's going to have a really hard time with it. Asmo food decks are going to have a hard time with it. Cephalid Breakfast will have a hard time with it. So the Reality Hemorrhages are just kind of a little nod to that and respecting that a little bit. So anyway, this deck, I think this deck's really incredible. It's a lot of fun to watch and a lot of fun to play because even though it's all 1-drops, you would think it runs out of gas pretty quickly. It really doesn't. It just kind of keeps going. Your threats are huge. You've got a ton of velocity. You see a lot of cards every single game. This deck is really, really fun, and I think it's something that helps keep this format, let's say, honest. Because, sometimes you just have to have a nice red aggressive deck to keep people reasonable in their greediness and their sideboards. So, I love this deck. I'm glad Nick put it together. I'm glad we have access to it, and I hope you guys enjoy watching the games. So, let's switch over and see who comes out on top between this red aggressive deck and the slightly slower, but also fairly aggressive, Cascading Rhinos deck.
Alright, man.
Roll for first?
Roll for first.
That's a pretty good roll. That bodes well for me.
Yeah, that could affect the entire match. That's crazy.
I'll be on the play.
Yeah, good luck, man.
You too.
Maybe we need some crazy dice rolling rules for the channel. Like roll doubles, you have to take a shot, and then you get to roll again and go first.
I'll keep this.
This hand is rancid. Double footfalls, single land. That's not a playable hand. Gosh, this matchup's terrifying. Maybe red's just the best deck.
It might just be. I mean, he went undefeated. Nick went undefeated with it the first time he played it, so. And
yeah,
did he or did Artifacts, did actual Affinity win the online tournament that we did?
Nick won.
Nick won?
Yeah,
okay, so he's literally undefeated.
He's won 2 tournaments.
Yeah, so this might just be the best deck.
He didn't play it in our last tournament, but yeah, it might be the best deck. I don't even know if Corey and Will are I'm gonna put 2 Sun Droplets in my sideboard, and it's I don't know, dude. Crazy things happen on turn 2.
Yeah.
Now, Story Circle. Now that's an answer. Yeah, I think I have to try this.
Alright.
Alright, well, at least this will be a quick match and then I can go to bed.
Blistercoil Weird.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. Incubation.
Yep.
I have to look at the top 5 for just a creature. So weird. Some stinkers in that one. I'll take a Blood Rage.
Okay.
Go ahead. I guess I'll tap mana at some point.
Soulscar Mage.
Yeah.
So, if your next turn is Stomp, you can kill one. You can kill the Blistercoil anyway, so I will just cast a Lava Dart at you.
Yeah.
Triggers.
Yep.
Kraus and one him. Oh wait, the Blistercoil, or the Soulscar was just played.
Yep. So take 2.
Go ahead.
Take a pain. I'm going to stomp here. Would you like to sacrifice a land?
Yes.
I think I hate that for me. Yeah, go ahead.
Did you take the one from the dart?
No, I did not. Thank you.
This is exiled. I will play this as a land.
Okay.
And let's just play another Soulscar.
Okay.
4.
I'm at 11.
Go.
This is not what I needed. I'll take a pain, play a Bone Crusher.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, it's really hard to not just take a lot of pain off this mana base.
Crash through.
That's terrible for me, Russell.
Interesting. Yeah, let's do another crash through.
Yeah, you have another crash through. Alright, so they have double trample.
They do have double trample. 3, 6, and 5.
So you're both 3/4s. No lava darts anywhere.
No lava darts.
Man, I don't think I can play around a gut shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm getting attacked for 11 here, so I kind of have to block something, so I guess I'll attempt to trade.
Yep, it will trade.
Yeah, I'm taking 3 and 5.
3 and 5.
Going to 2.
Go ahead.
That seems not good. I don't think there's anything else I can do. Take a point for red. Bloodbraid?
Yep.
Send me a Spirit Guide, top card.
Footfalls. Alright.
So, I'll get some Rhinos. These are beast tokens, but they have trample. We know that. I'm at 1, so some of my lands don't really work very well. Go ahead.
I will Spike Field Hazard you.
Yeah, that's fine. Alright, good luck to me on game 2. I guess the blessing is we probably don't have to restart the recording since it can go for 30 minutes. And it has been 7 minutes, I think, but there was some chatting.
Let's see here.
Man, I am making good decks look bad tonight. But, you know, I think that eventually maybe one of the things we can do on this channel is stomp, like whatever the best deck is, we can fire it up against some other matchups and see what might actually have a chance. Like what decks can actually be favored against Burn.
Right.
And maybe there's enough decks that can adjust their sideboards a little bit, and Burn isn't the boogeyman that it currently is. But
time to add Will's Martyr Proc list to the official meta.
Yeah, maybe Martyr Proc is the future. He said he was going really even with Rhinos as well.
Yeah, that's kind of good.
That's a big deal. I did not expect Martyr Proc to get even on Rhinos.
How does that deck win?
It's got the guy who, if you have enough life, you can tap him and make a 4/4 Angel.
Oh, got it.
And it's playing, I think, the full set of Abiding Grace, that 3-mana enchantment that buys back a 1-drop every turn, or every end step.
Yep.
So it's like, you can't remove all of them. You need a removal spell, and then you have to gobble it up out of the graveyard with like a Cling to Dust or something. I don't know, man.
Seems kind of cool.
Maybe Martyr Proc is the future.
Yeah.
I don't know when Will became such a mono-white guy, but he really is a mono-white guy. It's crazy. He loves stacks. We play a lot of $100 budget EDH as well, and our friend is just
5 mono white decks in a row is what he built essentially.
It's insane. Yeah. Sometimes it's the horse and the dog. Sometimes it's old Heliod. Sometimes it's a 3-color deck that's really just a mono white deck. All right, I'm gonna be on the play.
Yep.
All right.
Seems kind of mediocre, but I'll keep it.
Oh man, I don't know. This is a data point I haven't had before. How much faith do I have? I have faith in my deck. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it.
Okay.
Go.
Go ahead.
Cycle?
Yep.
Shivan Reef, go ahead. Oh, maybe I have effects in your upkeep. Let me think for a second. Nah, I'm kidding. Go ahead. I would never ice your land down. That's not me.
I guess I'll be proper. Soulscar Mage.
Good on Soulscar Mage.
Soulscar Mage.
Good on Soulscar Mage.
Go.
I despise this card, man. How many free spells can you have? Exile Simeon's Spirit Guide, but not to him. To Pyrokinesis.
Interesting.
I'm gonna do 2 and 2. I'm gonna say you don't have anything.
You're correct.
Brushing the danger off my face. Okay, great.
I was not expecting that one. Kind of forgot about that card.
Yeah, I'm gonna untap and I'll draw.
Although I guess if I just played 1, it still just also kills 1.
Yeah, I guess that just would happen. I'll take a pain. Those weren't even in the sideboard with Chris's original list. He had spare dollars, and I said, we're putting 3 Pyrokinesis in. Leia.
Yep.
Combat trigger. Footfalls, which is kind of great. I get a counter, you take 3.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I guess you're not drawing it.
Yeah, like I'm kind of on board with that, right?
I'm going to crash through.
You can crash.
Let's just double spell that down. Firebolt Lava Dart.
Yeah, so even if I had a Simeon Spirit Guide to pitch here, you'd be fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I mean, you could trade a Simeon Spirit Guide for a land and a Lava Dart.
Yeah, that seems maybe okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm ready to draw my Hieroglyphic Illuminations that I cut. You have a Maya Coast. Go ahead. This is not what the games were like before.
No, this is a bit of a weird one.
I guess it would be different if there were 2 Soulscar Mages on the board.
Wow. Light up the stage.
Yeah, that's fine. Is that until end of your next turn, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Go ahead.
I'm gonna ice your mountain.
I'll bolt you.
Yeah, that's fine. Draw a card for my troubles. One tap. I'll draw. My mana is kind of not terrible for once in my pathetic existence. Green, blue, colorless, shardless with his friends.
Yep.
Found the footfalls. Make 2 rhinos. Go ahead. Oh. Friend and friend.
Blistercoil?
Sure.
Let's play land for turn.
Yeah, is it 4 to activate that?
It is.
Okay.
Let's cast a firebolt at there.
Yeah, that's fine. Shardless down.
Bedlam Reveler.
Huh, that really just changed the tone of the game, didn't it?
Draw 3.
Maybe I'll respond to that.
Sorry.
You have a lava dart in your bed?
I do have a lava dart.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Draw how many?
3.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know, maybe Bedlam Reveler is insane and it should not be cut.
That seems kind of good. Soulscar.
Still with 1 dart in the grave, okay.
Still with the dart.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I'm going to take a pain and ice here.
Yep.
Untap, I'll draw. We're off to such a good start. Take a pain. Stomp here. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping to like tie up your mana a little bit. It really goes. Okay. I guess this doesn't go to the graveyard. It goes to hang out. And I will not cast it because of the way that life is. Go ahead.
Draw. Wish I had known that was there. Swift Spear.
Okay.
I will Gutshot you.
Yeah, it's going to have to be fine.
Rousters?
Yeah.
Alright, I will light up the stage.
Dude, the heaters don't stop. Oh my gosh, yeah. Skewer's live.
Yeah, Skewer is live. I will Blistercoil.
Yep. Or 2 Prowess triggers deep into the turn.
2 Prowess triggers.
Okay.
I'll Skewer here.
Yeah, it has 3 damage marked on it.
Mm-hmm. 4 and 3. This will also have 1 counter.
Yep.
And then I will Lava Dart to finish that off.
Yeah, that's fine. One mana, 6/6.
Go to combat.
Yeah.
We'll swing with everything.
This is a 7/8.
It is a 7/8.
How many triggers has this seen?
4.
No crash through though.
No crash through.
So I chump the 7 maybe? 5. Take 11, go to 2. Is that seriously the best I can do? Yeah, so I chump here. I'd be taking 5 and 6 is 11, go to 2. and then land off the top, I'm dead to Ramunap Ruins, and I'm also dead to any creature on your board. And my lands are killing me. Yeah, you got it. Good games.
Good games.
I like the handshake. We should do that.
We should actually do that. Yeah.
That's kind of cool. All right, Rhino's not the best deck. Tell your friends.
Apparently not.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our second episode. We finished the right side of our bracket, and Soul Artifact and Mono Red Blitz both made it through the first round. For the next 2 weeks, we're going to move over to the left side of our bracket, check out some of our first combo decks. Glimpse of Tomorrow versus Cephalid Breakfast. Kind of interested to see how that one goes. I think it's going to be a little bit like, two ships passing in the night. They're both just kind of executing their game plans, but I'm interested to see what kind of interaction they can scare up and who's a little faster. And we've also got Oketra's Monument versus Blue-White Control. I think that one's going to be very grindy. Neither deck is known for winning as quickly as some of these on our right side of the bracket. So I'm interested to see what shakes out with those two. We'll have a third video coming at you guys in around the next week or so. And honestly, if you've watched this far, go ahead and give us a follow on Instagram. We are $30 vintage MTG over there. And it really helps out the channel. We're trying to grow and share this format with more people, get some more interest in it, okay? Thanks for checking us out, and we'll see you next week.